Hello and welcome to the dinner table. I'm filling in for Carly Marotta today, who is not in New York with us. As you guys can see, we're in New York for the Big East tournament, and our guest today is Noreen Walsh, better known as fiance. How many more words can we say? Director of Ops for men's basketball at Marquette. She does everything behind the scenes, and that's what we're excited to learn about. But many of you guys who have listened know that we talk about Noreen every single podcast. And so we thought, what better way to have her on to chat about the Big East? So 10 seasons with Marquette.
Yep.
Which is amazing. You know, it's tough. I mean, working in college basketball is a lot. We all know that for sure. And so I kind of just want to talk right away about this Big East tournament and how much goes into it and kind of what you do behind the scenes. Can you just give a brief introduction to kind of your role heading into this tournament?
Yeah, so I'm basically the person who's thinking ahead. Everyone on the team, all they care about is the next game. But I'm the one who's months ahead planning for our trips or our games or whatever's coming up. So I don't know. I've been working on this since you're signing the contract in September. Then they reach out for the rooming list as it gets closer, a month out, the meals, all that kind of stuff. And then it's who from our team's coming, whose coaches or families are coming, who from Marquette is coming, the university people. And yeah, so it's just a lot goes into that. It's a lot of moving parts. People are coming, they're not coming, to the hour before we leave. Seriously. And even when we're here now, I'm not coming back with you. I'm okay, great, take them off, but whatever. So just everything like that. I don't know what else.
I mean, honestly, the team doesn't eat without Noreen.
Yeah.
The team doesn't sleep without Noreen.
I think a lot of people, if you're just a big Marquette basketball fan, like we all are, you see the games, you see the players play, and you just think it's all hoops. But obviously, when you have a huge travel party, how many people are on the trip?
150 came with us.
Woo!
And that's just, and we had to tell people no too. It could be more, but yeah.
And that's including some donors, obviously.
We didn't take any, that's the people we told no. Because there's so many, everyone would want to come. So, but the band and cheer came, that's another 50 people, 40 people. Yeah. The coaches' families, like I said, just a lot of university leaders.
So you're booking the hotel for all of them.
Yes.
There's an itinerary every single day for the team.
Yes.
Obviously, there's other events going on here. I know you don't handle as much as those as maybe Kim Perez, and shout out Kim Perez, but you're more so focused directly with the team and what the day-to-day operations look like, and all of those operations can change based off of the results from the games. And
yesterday we had our first game, so I have a plan for if we win, I have a plan if we lose, and it's not worth it to wait because our game ended at midnight. So I had both ready to go, and of course you don't want to plan for a loss, but you have to.
Give us a plan for if there was a loss last night.
Well, I had to talk to the plane to see when they could be out here for us. Hold on, I just got a text. Okay, we're fine. If I get a text, I might have to pause.
We are on strict. Noreen right now she's our guest with the most amount of we got to stop here. She gets a text or a call. Getting her on was a little difficult. We were begging her to come on, pushing her, and she finally accepted. So
she's a busy girl.
We're
you got to turn it on ringer. You can't miss a text from coach.
Yeah. You just have a lot of people to cater to, and so it could be anyone at any time. As Cam knows, late night texts or early morning texts that wake me up, but it's okay.
Her number one Cam is probably Cam Jones texting me more than me.
And he's a late texter for sure.
Late texter.
But he's so nice. He's always so nice. Wait,
funny.
but what was he saying before?
So plan if you lose. Talk to the plane.
Yeah, so they said they were really busy today with other flights, so our flight wouldn't have been until 7:30 p.m. today. So our coaches would probably be very mad about that because they probably just want to leave after a loss. But I would have had to tell everyone basically, you have the day in New York, do whatever you want. Buses are leaving at this time. We have 4 buses, so it's I try to stagger them. So by the time the team gets to the airport, everyone's on the plane because they. In sports, people don't really have much patience. I don't know if you probably know that. You know that for sure. It's they always want things boom, 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 boom.
For sure.
So that's my job mostly, just to make sure I can do everything I can so that it is as easy as possible for the team. So yeah, that was the plan. And then we still would have had the hotel all day. We have the hotel contracted through tomorrow because you never know if you're going to win or lose. So that would be fine. We already paid for all the meals, that kind of stuff. But then we had a win, and so I had a draft of our win. I kind of talked to Coach about it before the trip, but again, like I said, he really only cares about Thursday, that first game. So I had the draft, and I sent it to him on the bus as we're driving back, I'm like, but usually for these kind of tournaments, I talk with him once we get back to the hotel. And so just asked him, like, this is my draft. This is what we kind of were thinking. And we changed a couple things just because it ended up being such a late night. And
9:30 game. And there's a lot of things that go into that.
Yeah.
Something that like Cam and I can understand, but maybe not a lot of people do. Being the director of ops, you have to have a really close relationship with the coach because they need so much from you and you have to be on the same page at all times. If you're not on the same page, the operation doesn't work. And so you've worked under Coach Wojo, you've worked under Shaka. There's kind of just different people in a sense, different coaches. How have you like adapted to new personalities, like new expectations and...
Yeah. The first year is definitely the hardest because when Shaka came, because you have to learn what he's like, what he likes, what he doesn't like. So that was definitely my hardest year. But then ever since after that, I can tell he trusts me more now. And like, I can predict what our itinerary is going to be for a trip. And I send it to him. And like most times like, good, great. And I'm like, perfect. Thank God. But yeah, so he, like I said, like it's just been nice. You could tell at first, like the first year we kind of both didn't know each other. And so I had to earn that trust. And I try to work really hard.
What are some things in the schedule that he like looks for or has any go-to specifically? Maybe if it's like at the timing of practice or any unique. Because I know with at least Coach Wojo, he'd have some specifics. Whether like this is the time of day we're practicing, walkthroughs the night before. We might not, anything with that.
Yeah. So like before we like always practice the day before a game is shorter. So, like, I know what time we need to start to get to the play-in on time. But, like, for this week, we practiced, and then we didn't play the next day. So, I was like, hey, we might need to start practice a little earlier. So, instead of, like, our whatever 3-hour window it is before we leave, I made it a little longer. So, always that. I always give them time to shower and change because they like to take their time after practice.
But I also heard they do it a little quicker now after games.
Oh, coming back? Yeah. We but like I'm saying before we leave for a trip, they take their time. So we built in, because we were like late for the plane a lot last year and it was kind of annoying. don't tell Asa that. But I adjusted our practice times this year and it's been so much better. But yeah, after the game, we get out really quick, which is amazing. Like, I feel like the old team, they would take their sweet time. Yeah. Even on win or loss, like, we're out of there really quick. But again, for most trips, we have 2 buses. So I'm trying to rally all those people who aren't on the team, like, to get on bus 2 so we can be on the plane before the team gets there. And sometimes it's tight. Sometimes you get someone, like you have to screen, like TSA screening right by the plane. And oh my God, the one at Creighton, he was so slow. I literally was like, come on, the team's coming. Like, this is their last name, Adams, ADAMS, like right there, right there. Like, check her off.
Noreen, when basically one of the questions I wanted to ask is like, what are some of your roles? But Noreen's role is ever changing. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, and I want you to tell this story because you told it to me. You suddenly became a potbelly chef. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, that was fun. Okay, so it's our first day here. No, well, we got here Tuesday. Wednesday, we had practice at a high school because we didn't play. And so I ordered food for after practice to have there because we had to go to this award ceremony after, so we weren't going to come back to the hotel. So I order it like earlier in the week, call right away after like, hey, it's a big order. Can you handle it? First of all, you don't trust anyone in this profession because you can ask and say, they got it. And then you get there, they don't got it. Like it's so stressful. But that's why you just always have to be on it. And people look at you like you're psycho, but I'm like, sorry, like I have my job. Yeah. So I order the potbelly, they call them, they say they can handle it. I'm like, okay, great. Then I'm calling, it's Wednesday morning. I'm calling again because I'm like, you got to check on it. And I'm calling like, it was supposed to be delivered at 12:15. I'm calling like between 10 and 11 and the phone just keeps ringing and I'm like, they're probably really busy. This is bad. So I get them into practice. They're settled. I'm like, okay, great. And then I'm like, this Papa is like 2 blocks away. I'm going over there. And so I go over there and I can tell this lady's swamped. Like she's doing a catering order. And I'm like, oh, okay, she's starting it. And then I go up there. I was like, oh, is this my order? She goes, oh, no, it's a different one. I'm like, shoot. Like it's about like, I need the food at 12:15 and now it's getting close. It's probably like 11 something. And I'm like, okay, I'm helping you. Like, what do I need to do? And so
threw her potbelly hat on.
Literally. So we have all these catering boxes. I'm like, I'm writing turkey, ham, on like, give me the sheet. And we're making the boxes. I'm like, I need cookies, like chips. I need cookies.
Noreen's all of a sudden bossing around people in the back.
Seriously. And they brought out these chips. I'm like, I didn't order that kind. I want the barbecue only or the regular only. Like,
she's tasting the sandwiches going, this is a little undercooked.
I almost wanted to ask, like, hey, can I get a cookie? Like, I'm working here for free.
The thing is, though, is like, that's why it's so cool to have you here, because people do not understand.
Yeah.
Like,
and the team would have no idea. Like, I got back, well, it was supposed to be there at 12:15. I didn't get back till 12:40 because it was late. And the guy was going to walk it over, too. I asked for it to be delivered. And they're like, I'm like, hey, you ready? And they're like, yeah, okay, we're going to walk it over in a car. I'm like, you're going to walk it? Which I guess is fine for New York. But I'm like, oh, so I had a car actually at the high school for something else we needed. I'm like, I called the car service. I'm like, come pick me up at Potbelly, and then I had him take me back.
So you're also the delivery person as well.
Yeah, so it's
like,
just it worked out
had
though.
so many roles, and that's the thing. So if you think about it, these guys go into practice. Everybody needs food afterwards, and without you stepping up,
at all times, the food is such a.
It has to be there.
Well, and it's not just you would think it's breakfast, lunch, dinner.
No,
it's breakfast, snack, lunch, snack. Maybe a snack in between, dinner, snack,
smoothie.
Like it's not as simple as 1, 2, 3.
It's not as simple as that. So it's so cool, and I think from just behind the scenes of it, and especially when you're an employee in college athletics, like, your chaos is never shown to the team, and that's so important. Like, the guys, like you said, like, they never have any idea, because your job is to make it as calm and put together as possible. So
and if there is chaos, it's almost like you're not doing a good job, even though there's always chaos.
And if there is, you can't overreact, like, or freak out, because then they'll sense that. So, like, a lot of time, like, there's an issue. We've had plane issues a couple times this year, and I'm like, I hear it, I'm like, okay, like, what can I do to fix it? Like, when we were leaving, the plane was supposed to be there at 12:30. I told people to be at the airport at 2. The plane is still not there. So I'm like, okay, like, that sucks, but I can't do anything about it. So what can I do? So I
threw on her aviation hat and she started fixing it up a new plane.
Actually flew here.
Yeah, real quick. But then I was able to get another room for, like, our band and cheer to get screened and have them go wait in there, and just, like, anything. So, like, we were ready to go the second the plane landed. We could all get on the plane before the team got there, and luckily it worked out. Things like that. But yeah, when you said that, one of the players actually asked me in the elevator on this trip, they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how I forget the word, like, stressful is your job, or how overwhelming is your job? And I was like, well, it's not overwhelming because, like, I can handle it, but, like, it is a lot. And then I was like, as they're leaving, I'm like, a 9.
A 9. But I think, I mean, you've obviously done it for 10 seasons, and you've probably learned so
not
much.
this role exactly, because I had to work my way up.
Right.
Yeah.
Work your way up.
That's a good question. Can you talk about the different roles that you've had throughout the 10 years?
Yeah, because I don't want to act like I've been doing this for 10 years. I have not. I started as a student my first 2 years. Literally just working at the front desk. We had a desk in the back for the students. We always had, like, 2 students there at a time.
Talk about the office girls. I think this is unique and probably something that is not the same at every college, and something that was great for Marquette, I think.
Well, we don't have them anymore.
Yeah, but just talk about how you started as that.
Yeah, they just had they had student ladies, they called them office girls, work in the office just to help, like, stock in the fridge, help with anything, what do you call them? Not Barb's role, secretaries, or the people who kind of do what I do now. Back then, like, help them with stuff. The coaches needed help, like, making labels or things like that. So there would be 2 students at a time. One would sit in the back, one would sit in the front. And I always loved sitting in the back because you could be with all the coaches in the back. You would hear a lot. You would learn a lot. I'd be right next to these 2 ladies who are my role back then. I would hear them on the phone. I would learn everything. So I, like, thrive there. Eventually, like, I would, like, skip class to stay there because, like, I was, like, doing a project. I'm like, I want to finish this project. Like, because with this job, when you, like, had to stop a project, like, the girl who was coming in the next hour would pick it up. And I'm like, no, this is my project. So, yeah. So I did that for 2 years. And then it was coming my senior year. And I was biomedical science, which is not what I'm doing now, obviously. But I was just, like, sick of school. And the Barb, as I mentioned, was my role back then, she was like, would you ever work here full time? I'm like, yes, for sure. And so she kind of helped me get this full-time job. And so then the compromise with the university was that we would no longer have these student workers, and it would just be me full time. So then I did that for maybe 2 years. And then, like, it just, like, people would leave, like, in different roles, and I would just work my way up to where I am now. And so now I sit in the back full time. and I'm a director.
Director of ops.
Yeah.
Director of ops. And you've worked your way up, and so so not necessarily 10 seasons, but like definitely just a lot of
10,
learning.
yeah.
10 full. Whatever, just working your way up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to ask, like, how this has impacted your regular life, because I think, I mean, as your future sister-in-law, like, you have been so chill planning this wedding, and I literally, this is credit to what you do in your job, because you can't freak out in your regular life.
Yeah.
So how have you kind of, like, adjusted your personality, like, off the basketball world a little bit?
I mean, like, with the wedding, that's like cake to me, like this, like, and like even your mom is so sweet. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry my friend can't come. Oh, she can't come. And I'm like, it's fine. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, I deal with this all the time. Like, I know people's stuff change, like, it's fine. And that's fun to me. Like, I like doing this I like organizing things. I like taking the lead. I like, so it's all fun. I don't know. Yeah, but I will say right now I've kind of paused on plans for the wedding because March is really busy. But I don't know what else you want me to say based on that.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's perfect. I just kind of wanted to know, like, I think naturally you went into this job probably because that was your personality.
Yeah.
So it just fits you, and that's why you wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like it flows over into that, and I feel like all your guests are much more chilled because of it. I'm like,
and for our listeners that don't know, we're not just having a wedding in Milwaukee.
Yes. Yeah.
This wedding is overseas in Italy, and there's a lot of planning that goes behind that, and so Noreen does a hell of a job.
I mean, speaking to people who don't talk English and trying to plan hotels and food and.
Find a priest out there to do the
we did
wedding.
it. We found one.
We did it. Yeah. And I'm a bridesmaid and can wear whatever color, whatever dress I want. Like, that's just, like, it's just calm. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. But okay, kind of like switching back into the basketball. I want to talk about the team a little bit, the players. You have a good connection with them. You said, like, Cam Jones will text you at any time. I know we would text our Dobo for any question we ever had, any situation in life. It would be, oh my gosh, like, what's going on with school? Sometimes you're, like, randomly texting your Dobo. Like, it's just, it's the connection. So how have the team, kind of like, how is this team different than teams in the past? And what are the players like? What are their personalities?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows they're amazing. Like, the best. I love our players so much. Like, and they're so great. Like, I feel like there's not one guy that I'm like, you're a bad boy. Like, they're all the sweetest, the most appreciative. Like, they'll just randomly come up to me like, thank you for what you do. Like, how are you doing? Like, just, and I'm like, sometimes when they ask me like, how are you doing? I'm like, okay, what do you need? But like the other day Chase said that. I'm like, really, what do you need? He's like, nothing. I was just like saying, how are you doing? I'm like, stop it. Cam Jones randomly will always say like, I appreciate what you do. And it's just like the nicest. And I will say like they might not have as much a connection as you did with your Dovo because like I'm a girl, they're a guy. So sometimes they go to more things like to Mark Dixon or like Tyler McDevitt. But like I'm more like a motherly figure for them, I feel like, which I love. So I'm just there to help with whatever they need. They appreciate what I do and I appreciate them. I work with their parents a lot too, so I just have a close relationship with their families.
And tell you what, every parent I run into of the guys on the team just love Noreen. Every time I see it, whether they're it's Stevie's mom or the Joplins or everybody just raves about Noreen for like 15 minutes to me every time. I see him down in the lobby every 2 seconds here. So Noreen.
Well, mostly because they ask for tickets at the waking hour, and I say, okay, I can help you.
Has there ever been, you talk about all the different requests, is there any request, if there's none, just we'll skip over it, but just stick out to you? Like, is there one that was a crazy request that you were like, okay, we can do this?
There definitely is. I'm trying to think.
I always feel like the mattress situation at the end of the year with like getting the Tempur-Pedics and stuff is always crazy.
Housing. I do housing in case no one knew that. That's fun. Yeah, housing's fun. I'm trying to think. There's definitely wild things. Sometimes it's like questions that are like, you're asking that. Like we were like delayed flying the other day, and someone texted me like, does this mean we're gonna get in later? I'm like, yes. Like, come on.
It's really like Ask Amy. Like, Ask Amy. Noreen will, like it's like that. It's so funny.
But I definitely have one. I'll have to think of one. And I feel like I've probably told you something. And I'm like, I'm like, you want what? Okay, I'll do it, but what?
Who's the person that texts the most on the team?
And the players?
Ask like the most like.
Well, I do their tickets. The tickets is a lot of texting and adding and stuff. It's hard. Definitely like our starting five, I would say. But as they should. Like I'll do whatever they want because I love them.
As long as they're winning. If they beat Providence tonight, then it's good.
As long as they're winning. All right. So obviously this is a full year job.
Yeah.
And I've heard you say this in the past, but sometimes your postseason is actually like a little bit harder at times than actual in season. So talk about like what happens after the season and what your role is then.
Yeah, it really, people think like your summer's fun. It's not. Like it's, you're always doing something. And
except for this summer when we get married.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous to take 2 weeks off. I don't think I'm going to be able to.
Never in your life.
Like whenever I go on a trip, you're still working the whole time. Like it's, but yeah, so after this season, like last year, it was like the week after, like everyone was like kind of in shock, or, because that was a hard ending. And everyone's in the office, like, it's like retention right away, like talk one-on-one players, meetings with the players, recruiting, getting the high school seniors ready to come in because they come in like mid-May. So it's just like right away you're on to the next thing.
And that process is not easy. I mean, you bring in 2 new guys and they have to get fully acclimated to Marquette University.
Yeah. And I'm in charge of like that onboarding process. So I work with the assistant coaches who brought them in and getting them settled in the housing, working with their parents, getting them set up for whatever they need. Like if some of them don't even have a credit card, help them go get a credit card, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And some of these guys, well, actually Marquette men's team kind of starts in that first session. So that's right after the season ends. First session of summer school. So there's 2 sessions of summer school typically. I know for the women's team, we usually go home that first session and come back. Men's team in the past has done both sessions. So those guys,
and we
that
practice too, like in April. Like we'll still have practices. Like it's just it doesn't stop.
It just doesn't. It doesn't stop. Yeah. So recruiting process. I mean, you plan the recruits' visits.
No, I used to. So that's like part of me working my way up. A couple years, I would do all the recruit visits. I would do all the travel for the assistants when they're going recruiting. And now I do more team only, more player stuff only. So we have someone else do that. But yeah, I've done it in the past. That's a lot. You're on call 24/7 as always. The visits are fun for sure. Like I love planning the visits. Those are fun. But yeah, recruiting is a full-time job.
Can you, and I know you don't do this anymore, but can you take us through maybe like a weekend when a recruit comes in and just quickly, like, because I think it's pretty interesting actually, all the stuff that goes into, and I actually know, and just because you told me this too, that it's a little bit different than what Coach Woldrow did when I was there with Shaka.
It's different. Yeah, every coach is different. They usually come around a game when we're in season, and they'll come the night before. They'll take them somewhere nice to dinner. Next day, they'll maybe do breakfast at Pfizer Forum and then show them around Pfizer Forum. Take them on a campus tour, show them a dorm, meet with like Adrian, who's our academic lady, meet with Dr. Lovell if you can.
Dr. Lovell, I don't think it happens at many universities at all where the president of the university is meeting with recruits when they come in. And this just made me think of what we were talking about earlier this week with him being such a good teammate to Tyler Kolick. Could you talk about that story a little bit?
Yes. So we got here on Tuesday night and everyone's getting settled, and Tyler comes up to me. He's like, I think I left my luggage like in Milwaukee at the office. I was like, oh, okay, great.
Another thing he has to deal with.
Don't panic. What can I do? So then I'm thinking like he wanted to overnight it. I'm like, we can't overnight it. It's like 9:00 right now. Nowhere's open. So I'm like, what's the next best thing? Let's try to think of who's coming tomorrow. And so I thought about like David Joplin's parents. They're coming. Check with them because they're from Milwaukee, but they weren't coming until like later. He's like, I really like it earlier. And I was like, okay, relax. We're going to get it. Or we're going to try. So then I thought about Dr. Lovell. I knew he was coming around like 2. And so I reached out to someone in his office who was actually flying with him. So I didn't have to go right to the president with this request. And she was like, yeah, for sure. So they basically, Dr. Lovell and his team flew the bag to New York for us and brought it to our hotel for our king, Tyler Kolick.
Our king. Oh my gosh. The bag got a private jet service, right?
Not really. They flew commercial.
Oh my God. Well, gosh, even worse.
Yes. But yeah, it was so nice of them.
Shows you the type of teammate though Dr. Lovell is.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Bringing Tyler his bag, and it just shows you how involved he is too with the team and with the athletic department, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's out there courtside every single game. He'll fly from women's Big East to men's Big East to volleyball the next day. Like it's amazing to see him at every single stop. And it kind of reminds me, I headed to the Big East tournament 2 years ago, and I get on the plane and I realize I do not have my phone. And I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do? So I go to the Dobo. And I'm like, V, I don't have my phone. I don't know. And it says it's at Al McGuire Center. And I'm on the plane, and we were about to spend 6 days COVID lockdown. So nothing was open, and we were not supposed to go down to the lobby in Connecticut, in Mohegan. And so she had somebody find my phone at the Al. Find it. I had to bang it through Find My iPhone. Found it, put it in a vanilla envelope, overnighted it to Mohegan Sun. We had to secretly have somebody go down to pick it up at the lobby because it was during COVID, couldn't have it. And so I spent like a day and a half without a phone in the Big East tournament during COVID lockdown. It was just like the craziest thing ever, but the Dobo saved the day. Again, like it's just, you have to deal with those roles every single time. So yeah.
You wear a lot of hats as the Dobo.
Yes, wear a lot of hats. Yes. But this has been so much fun. I think we've learned so much. I've been kind of hinting at some of the people that watch this that we're going to have you on, and they were so excited because no one hears this. This is behind the scenes Marquette Basketball, and you obviously do a lot for everyone. So I have a fun little segment. Obviously, I'm taking Carly's little hosting position today.
And we missed Carly. Could talk about Carly, what she's doing right now, actually.
Yeah, so Carly does a lot of play-by-play. She's a sports director from Madison, but on the side, she also does play-by-play. And it's the Wisconsin State Tournament this weekend. Last weekend was the girls. This weekend's the boys. And so Carly is play-by-play for the state tournament. So if you listen to the championship game, she will be calling it. And
just called the buzzer beater yesterday.
Yeah, and she does
and it's good. What she said.
It's good. So I mean, if you see her on that, and then probably ESPN or CBS in your future.
So that's why we're out in New York City though, without Carly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So shout out Carly because this is a tough role to fill. But we're going to add a new little segment into the Dinner Table podcast. And we don't talk about her enough, but we have a little sister, McKenna, who's in Boulder, Colorado. We introduced her in the first episode, just kind of talking about, you know, she's more of our adventure bug. She's the skier. She's the happy-go-lucky. She's the
study abroad in Paris right now.
So she kind of helps us out with a lot of our social media and the creative side of things. And she's not much of a sit down talk about sports like we are. So, but we're
not that she doesn't though too, because she can. She also played basketball.
Best shooter in the family, to be honest. Exactly. Yeah.
Except when I get hot sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Hate to even say it, but best shooter in the family for sure. So she has that, but we're going to add this segment. It's called McKenna's Mystery, and she gets to send in one question. So she actually sent this in from Paris because she's studying abroad over there. One question to our guest, and it could be anything about anything. So the question today is, Noreen, what do you love most about Cameron?
I thought she knows who the guest is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, this could be general. I thought it was like
who the guest is. McKenna's question is, what do you love most about Cameron, our brother?
Yeah. And we have plenty of time. We're only 36 minutes.
Someone just texted me. It's easy. The way he like interacts with people is the best. Like, you can just tell people respect him. He's so nice to people, old people, young people. Like, everyone loves him. It's your whole family too. Like, everyone just respects you guys, and it's because you're good people. And yeah, that's what I love the most.
I'm getting a little misty over here.
I mean, he's been stopped on every street of New York. Cam, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. So
it's so many Marquette alumni out here.
I love it.
It's honestly unbelievable. It's super fun because we have been going. Thank you for the nice compliment, by the way. But we've been going all over the place, and I've seen more people that I've gone to college with, and you don't even realize how many people from the East Coast went to Marquette too. I was really good friends with a lot of lacrosse people, and they're all here for the tournament. You see millions of them, so it's been super fun walking up and down the streets, and you think of New York City as like the biggest city in the world, but it's so many Marquette people in the area that we're at. It's been like almost feeling like we're in Milwaukee.
We're at home. We're at Irish pubs.
Yeah.
It's like feels like we're at home. So that was McKenna's Mystery segment. We'll conclude and continue to do that for other episodes in our future. So now what we have is we're going to head out to Mustang Harry's for a little pregame reception for the men's game tonight. Shop a little bit in Soho. Noreen's got to get back to work, but exciting end of the day today for sure.
They play Providence tonight.
Yep.
Any thoughts on the game?
Oh, I don't do that. So, I'm prepared for a win or loss either way. So
That's all that's on her mind.
She's prepared.
She's prepared. So we'll close it off at that. Thank you all for listening, and thank you, Noreen.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good job.